And good morning. It's just after 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, April 8th. We just got done with Sunrise a couple of hours ago, and stories continue to develop here in the newsroom. So this is our 10 at 10, otherwise known as Coffee Break. Normally, I'm here with Gene Valicenti on Tuesday mornings, but he is right now covering kind of some breaking news because we have a new bishop in Providence. More on that in just a bit. So this is our Coffee Break. We're going to show you some pictures of who that is. I think we brought this on the air around 6 o'clock this morning, that the decision has been made. And actually tomorrow, my Ask Alison report, I'll explain the process because that came into our series of how is a bishop formed? Where does he come from? Who makes the ultimate decision? What I learned is it's basically just up to the Pope. So our top story this morning is that the Roman Catholic Diocese of Providence does have a new bishop as of right now. Pope Francis, it's ultimately his sole decision, has named Reverend Bruce Allen Lewandowski to lead the Providence Diocese. So he will replace Richard Henning, who was appointed as Archbishop to the Boston Diocese last October. And right now, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. He's speaking with reporters, including Gene Valicenti right now, about all of this. And we'll have that breaking as our top story coming up at noon, because we know Rhode Island is so Catholic. So that's the big story of the day this morning, and that'll spill into the rest of the week as well. It's probably going to take a couple of more months, though, until we find out, or weeks, I should say, until we find out when the installation mass is. And that's the next step before he becomes our official bishop. All right, let's look at the weather right now. Jason Doris is standing by, I believe. And let's see what he's up to. Jason, good morning.
Good morning, Alison. Good morning to everyone. Wish I had a little bit better news this morning, but we can clearly see off to a slow start, lots of clouds in place. And if you've been out and about, you might have been caught underneath one of these sporadic showers that is venturing its way through the Ocean State, now kind of making its way into Bristol County too. But all eyes are kind of on the cold front that's producing some of these showers. It's in eastern Connecticut right now. You can see that well-defined line of what is actually some snow. So we could see a quick little burst of snow. This front should be pushing through within the next hour and a half. That could actually lead to a quick dip in our temperatures. But this is all part of a quick hitting storm system that's currently spinning through northern New York. This will push off to the east as we go forward to today, but it'll introduce us into some gusty conditions as we go forward in the afternoon. But temperatures currently sitting in the upper 30s, low 40s, Providence at 41 degrees. We're probably going to dip into the upper 30s briefly as that front blows through. Also pick up that wind. We can see up towards Springfield right now, those winds sustained at about 18 miles an hour this afternoon. They could be sustained anywhere between about 15 and 25, gusting up to about 30, 40 miles an hour. But over the next 12 hours, we're going to have that chance for maybe a rain, snow shower as that front is pushing through. Again, very brief. Temperatures hold fairly steady because of all that wind that we're going to have in place. And then going into tonight with the clear skies and new air mass settling into the region, it's going to lead to a very rude awakening tomorrow for most of us, starting in the mid to upper 20s. And really, things will improve slightly as we go forward, but it's going to be kind of a cool, crisp, brisk day across the area. High is only going to be in the mid 40s. At least we'll have plenty of sunshine tomorrow and a little bit less wind, especially in the afternoon. That will make a big difference compared to what we're going to experience later on today. But the big story continues to be this unsettled weather pattern as we got some more rain, Allison, for this upcoming weekend. So that's what I'm going to be breaking down coming up starting at noon.
Well, at least it's quick, right? It's in and it's out. So that's the
That's
big news.
We're hoping for today.
Okay. I'm going to have to suffer through Mario tomorrow. I was going to complain about that, but he'll be fine. Another story we're following is that Jaguar Land Rover is saying anyway, it's unclear if it's like real or a threat, but that they will pause U.S. shipments for at least a month as it assesses the impact of our President Donald Trump's tariffs on vehicle imports. We're going to have to see how that lands itself out. We do have a dealership en route to in Warwick for both Jaguar and Land Rover, so maybe we'll get some local reaction on that later today. This, of course, comes after that 25% tariff President Trump put on all foreign cars that were imported into the country, and we've been seeing the markets go absolutely bonkers since last week when all of this has happened. So we're going to check in on the dealership. I think it's Kaplan en route to in Warwick to see how that's going. We're seeing a turnaround, though, today with stocks after so many days when the stocks have just been tumbling. The Dow Jones rebounded over 1,000 points or 2.9%. Futures tied to the S&P 500 were up a little more than 2%. NASDAQ futures gained about 2.2% this morning between 5 and 6 a.m. We saw it kept climbing in the green, which is such a departure from the past week. Overnight, also, China said it will, quote, fight to end after Trump announced the U.S. would slap an additional 50% tariff on China if the country follows through on that 34% retaliation tariff that it's been promising. So it's a lot of back and forth with this. And of course, we're staying on top of it because all of us are looking at our retirement accounts, 401ks, you name it. It really hits hard. Parents and students in West Warwick now may notice more police patrols in and around the high school. That's this week, and it comes after police say they were made aware of unfounded threats, but they still took them seriously. So I want to bring in my colleague, Abby Buttacavoli. She was on top of the story all morning long on Sunrise to ask you about this. Abby, you're also our education reporter. So we're going to hit on two stories, but first, West Warwick. What is the latest? What's the vibe when it comes to the tone on campus?
Yeah, so I know our colleague Mike Cerullo is sort of leading the charge on this story this morning, and the message is people are glad to see police there. They feel a lot more comfortable knowing that any threat, if there were concerns, police are handling it and that they're addressing it with students' safety and faculty and staff safety in mind.
And do we know exactly the nature of the threat? All they're saying is it wasn't credible, but do we know what it was?
At this point, all I believe we know is that it was online threats that were
Online.
made. It is
Student to student? We're not sure.
We are
Okay.
unaware if it was a student or not.
Okay, we were told it was made in March, but then it started to recirculate again on social media last week and then over the weekend, which is what brought the action this week. We're hoping they give us some more information on that. Even though it's not credible, it's interesting, though, that they took such a strong stand. So we're going to pay attention to that. Also, Abby, you're working on another story today, Globe Park Elementary School. So are you in Woonsocket already or you're on your way there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening with that?
Yeah.
Extending the day, right?
They're extending the day by 28 minutes per day until the end of the school year. And I've heard very mixed reactions from parents, but more than not, I'm hearing a lot of parents aren't really in support of this move. They say it throws off their routines with their kids, their schedules, having to do pickup from school is challenging. And I'm told a lot of parents are just picking their children up when the school day used to end the 28 minutes earlier now. And it's a rainy day. We know Jason has been telling us precipitation is happening. I can say I've gotten rained on a little bit out here talking to parents, and that's a concern. Parents wonder what is going on with the roof situation. The reason why the school day is being extended, of course, is because students were out of school a total of 5 days back in February due to the roof leaking. And a lot of parents tell me that this is something that has been happening for almost a decade now. The roof is in dire need of repair. I will be speaking to the superintendent coming up in just about an hour now to get his thoughts on the situation here and to hear why the decision was made to extend the school day compared to maybe extending the school year, maybe keeping the kids an extra week in school or 2 weeks.
So it's either 5 full days, right, to make up, I think, 180 total school days required by state law, or add up all these hours so you don't have to add up days, but you're just making a couple of days longer so that you're making up 5 days, right? That's essentially the crux of the argument. Okay, and there was a petition that went around. Do you know how many signatures that received from parents who said do not extend the school day? It was in the hundreds.
Yeah, as of this morning, it is 253 parents or people who have found the petition have signed it.
All right, so we'll stay on top of that for sure. Do they have to make a decision? Is there a deadline for the decision to be made?
Right now, no. The decision has been made to extend the school day. Whether the school district sticks with that decision based on what parents say is still kind of up in the air.
Okay. Abby, thank you. We'll see you later at noon.
See you later.
And then tomorrow, bright and early.
Bright and early.
Another story getting our attention, of course, right now. I wanted to talk to Jane about this today, so maybe we'll pick up with this even next week because I'm sure this isn't going away. 2 Coventry town councilors have resigned. There is some beef, if you will, with the city council. We're talking about James LeBlanc and Scott Copley, both announcing their resignations. They made it public yesterday. One serves District 5, one serves District 3. One is claiming that he was treated unfairly by council leadership and takes issue with how the town solicitor handled some recent invoices. This is what we reported this morning on Sunrise. Both of them are saying the town's legal department budget is ballooned to nearly $900,000, which is not okay for a town that size. Copley also writing that he's, quote, deeply concerned by what he calls the failure to put important items on the council's agenda. I'm looking down so I get that right. Both letters are also referencing recent council meetings, including, quote, claims of hostility during a meeting on March 11th. And this is what that sounded like.
Is peace of mind that the both of you won't use the invoices that are unredacted for Facebook entertainment. You don't get to take issue when you come from, both of you come from me publicly on a daily basis on that platform. You've had your word.
I never talked about you on Facebook. Why would I waste my time talking about you, to be quite frankly? Okay?
Yeah.
Because you have an issue with me because I'm not your pony or the dog in the race that won.
All right. Right now, it's not clear when voters will get a chance to make other decisions on who will fill those seats, but there is a town council meeting scheduled for tonight at 6 o'clock. So I'm sure we'll stay on that 6 o'clock and then throughout the evening shows. Mega Millions, by the way, a big jump in how much you pay for a ticket. The first with tickets costing $5. They've gone up. So theoretically, you pay more, you get more if you win is the idea. According to organizers of Mega Millions, I'm not a lottery player, so I'm just going with what I'm told. According to organizers of Mega Millions, players who have won $2 in the old game will now likely walk away between $10 and $50 under the new laws. Non-jackpot prizes at every level are going up by 2 to 10 times 2. And I'm removing one gold mega ball from the game. Players supposedly, you be the judge, have slightly better odds at the big jackpot. So that's making headlines too. Take a listen.
Discussions about changing the Mega Millions game for a number of years. There's been a lot of research and testing done to decide the best possible game design. And this was the one that was the most popular, most successful, and seems to offer the best value.
All right, so we'll see if you play. Good luck. And meanwhile, today at 1 o'clock, we're going to find out who is going to get their name on Tidewater Stadium. Of course, that's a stadium that's opening up to soccer in Pawtucket. First game is May 3rd. We're going to be live on the field. I am on Sunrise the day before to give you a look at the new riverfront walk that's being put in, talk with the players, the coaches, even the mascot, which Gene so much loves. At 1 o'clock today, we're going to find out the name of Tidewater Stadium, how much it cost and whose name is going up on there. Of course, the Rhode Island Football Club is going pretty strong actually right now. And the stadium, after a lot of controversy, a lot of back and forth, is officially opening up on May 3rd for the first game. So today at 1 o'clock, we'll find out whose name is going up on the stadium. And as we start covering the story more and more throughout April, as we get closer and closer to the first game, we're also going to keep looking at all the revitalization work happening around the stadium, parking. We've been talking about Apex because the panels came down. The mayor now saying they don't have the resources right now to take down the whole building, to turn it into a full parking lot for parking for the stadium, but they're going to do something to clean it up to make it look a little bit better as things are in motion. And the reason for the wait is because trying to find out if Hasbro is staying or going. Hasbro was offered that site. And if it's another developer who comes in, they'll need to work in partnership with the city to figure out next steps. So that's why they can't take it down now. And it's also quite expensive to do. All right. So that's at 1 o'clock. We're going to find out whose name is going on Tidewater Stadium and more. All right. It's about 13 minutes. I'm only supposed to go for 10. So thanks for joining us on Coffee Break. I believe Gene will be back with me next week. Right now, he is meeting the new bishop, and he'll have more on that at noon. And then, of course, on NBC 10 News at 6. In the meantime, thanks for joining us. I'm Alison Bologna. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning on Sunrise with Mario and the team. Have a great day.